Welcome to your weekly edition of your program, A World of Books. Thank you so much for joining us. And as usual, we begin with a look at the latest publications and books that have been released recently in Egypt and the Arab world. Stay tuned for more coming up. A new book has been released by the General Authority of Cultural Palaces amongst the series of the Revolution's innovations. The novel, entitled Dreams Under Custody, is by the writer Hussein Abdel Gawad. The book is 9 chapters, 5 of which are narrated by Abdel Aal al-Bindari, the main character of the novel, who was a police officer before retiring as a general. The other 4 chapters of the book are narrated by Ziad Ibrahim, a young man who disappeared during the events of the January 25th revolution of 2011. Noura Alwan, the pretty girl whose feelings misguide her sometimes, and Samer al-Daba, who aspire to success and career upgrades regardless of the means, and Maha Hassan Ziad, Ibrahim's wife, along with other characters, all feature in the book. How to Raise Our Kids from Childhood to Adolescence is the title of a book recently released from the educational expert Alem. The author tackles opinions and theories of contemporary educational scientists about directing child behavior, developing their skills and achieving self-censorship inside them, plus developing their keen senses. The author also tackles the modern scientific terms of education like self-control of a child and driving this to process, in the different age brackets as the characteristics of physical, social, mental, ideological, and emotional growth of children. The book tackles the adolescent stage, trying to repair what could have been corrupted in behavior during childhood. The book also tackles the issue of the example teacher as an essential character that is required to be practiced by teachers always. The book also answers the common questions concerning mothers in guiding the behavior of children and teenagers, and showing real examples taken from the field of behavioral vases that every mother and teacher face. Most of the examples are characterized by being preventative methods a teacher takes before things are aggravated to become poor behavior. The book sheds the light on the most dangerous childhood disorders and how to treat them, and how to deal with a violent child, and also grave mistakes teachers commit and parents commit against their children at crucial phases of their lives. There are many other important things readers will find in this book, which are considered a comprehensive guide in the art of raising children. The General Authority of Cultural Palaces has recently released a book entitled Egyptians Between Adaptation and the Revolution, in search of a theory for the revolution by the author Hatem al-Gohari, among the series of the revolution's writings. The book has an introduction by Professor Ahmed Zayed, in which he wrote, "The author did good by writing this book about adaptation and the revolution, and exerted big efforts in crystallizing the meaning of passive adaptation, which contradicts with the revolutionary action, the kind of adaptation that has led to the compulsory integration of the society and to sedating life. The book crystallizes the concept of the revolution as an attempt to break the negative adaptation and compulsory integration, as well as lead society to better horizons of justice and freedom. The book tackles the appearance of the adaptation and its effect on Egyptians, the roots of this adaptation and its relation to Egyptian people, the motives and the forms of the revolution for the Egyptians in the shadow of this adaptation. The book also tackles the nature of the adaptation and the Egyptians' movement, and also values in the shadow of the nature of adaptation, and liberating status towards a theory to understand this nature, as well as the preliminary conditions of change. The book also shows the theory of liberating status and the individual's role between the effective society and the adapted society. The book also tackles the aim of reaching an active society, individual beliefs, and the adapted society. The book ends with analyzing the revolution's end and conflict with the adapted anti-powers, and the historical role of the interest groups and the popular independent movement, and action mechanisms, plus the victories of the value revolutions and the last phase of the conflict. The novel Between the Diamond and the Coal Cellar by the Iraqi author Khalid Nassar was released in Cairo 1st of March of 2013. It is one of the 180 pages of medium size, and the cover was designed by the artist Ahmed Taha. On the back cover of the book, the publisher wrote, "The chapters of this novel are based on the parody of presence and absence in a lot of intensive visual scenes in which the author returns to his wonderful worlds with that nostalgia and sadness to memories, sweet and bitter ones alike. The narrator gives us, through narrative and human experience, a lot of moments of joy, defeat and pain, and the lives of the characters still carrying their old warm glows." The author managed to breathe life into the character of Raphael, the main character that is sweet and tormented. Though interestingly, an attractive narration and lucid storytelling in an intimate and transparent language of real heroes who still live in the deep dungeons of the author's memory. The visual scenes that interlace with a lot of details in the narrator's life, we find honesty and artistic tension in the details of the sacred war of Raphael, which he fought, which shows the painful suffering, and this is shown more in the second return when he finds that his best friend had married his wife after they thought he. As for Mustapha al-Tobgi, his full name is Mustapha Ibrahim Hamdi al-Tobgi. He's a control engineer in an electricity company born in 1982 and is inclined to satirical writing, as it's easy to reach the heart and minds of readers, though it is considered one of the most difficult writing styles contrary to what some people think. There's a big difference between satirical criticism and offense, between funny words and pretentiously funny style. 2 books have been released for him. The first was in 2011 entitled Checking for Priors, which is a satirical book criticizing society and highlighting the negative aspects of Egyptian people, especially after the revolution. The second book was released in 2012 and it was entitled The Passengers in a Metro Car. This is a collection of stories shedding light on some of the social and political problems facing the motherland, the citizens and the Arab world. A lot of his articles are published in different Egyptian papers like Al-Watan, Al-Shuruq, and in every Thursday in Nahdat Mosque newspaper. He also has some poems about the Egyptian Revolution, most famous of which are I Saw in My Dream and Mother of the Martyr.
لو اتكلمنا عن هواية القراية، مش هفتكر انا بدأت اقرا امتى، لكن اول كتاب قريته كان الولد الشقي في المنفى كورة سنة 2009 من اخراج المخرج الاسباني الخندرو. بعد كده معانا كتاب الأولى باريس، وهي لكاتبة شابة اسمها شيرين عادل، هي مهندسة. الكتاب من أدب الرحلات، توصف فيه رحلتها لباريس وأمستردام. أجمل حاجة في الكتاب هو الأسلوب الساخر للكاتبة، ودي أول مرة أقرأ فيها كتاب أدب رحلات أسلوب ساخر. الكتاب لو قريته ما انتش محتاج تروح فرنسا، خلاص انت عرفت كل خرم إبرة في باريس. لو كان السفر فيه 7 فوائد فالقراءة فيها 8. الأولى باريس بيرصد محطات المترو في باريس، المناطق السياحية، الشوارع، الفنادق، تعاملات الناس، النظام. لكن برغم كل ده بنلاقي الكاتبة مفيش انبهار تام بباريس مدينة النور، لكنها في تقييم عملي وتقييم هندسي بأنها مهندسة للواقع اللي في باريس والواقع في أمستردام والسلبيات والإيجابيات، ومقارنة كل ده بالواقع في مصر. ده كتابي الشخصي. كتابي التاني اسمه عربة المترو، ده صدر 2012 في معرض الكتاب اللي فات دوت. الكتاب مجموعة قصصية، وقد يظن البعض أنه هو مجموعة من القصص تحدث لركاب عربة المترو، وده غير صحيح. الكتاب بيرصد مشاكل المجتمع المصري من خلال قصص قد تكون واقعية لدى البعض، قد تكون خيالية، لكن هي ملموسة. زي ما قلت في أول الكتاب، قد يكون أحد القراء مر بهذا الموقف. القصة الرئيسية للكتاب اسمها ركاب عربة المترو، وهي